No one will argue if we say that the Transformers franchise is one of the most successful ones over the last 2 decades, from the Michael Bay movies all the way to the last spin-off movie featuring Bumblebee in his solo movie. However, the franchise had something to stand on, always managing to increase its budget over the years, parallel to the box office success. And today, we're going to talk just about that. Franchise's budget. After Generation 1, the GoBots, the Unicron Trilogy, and the whole world of animated series before us, it was time for the live-action sequence of the Transformers franchise. Starting in 2007 with Michael Bay's Transformers, the first live-action film proved itself a watershed moment in the history of the brand as a whole. It was the movie that marked a turning point for the Transformers franchise, built around a blitz of tie-in merchandise and promotions, likes of which have never been seen before. And the success of it paved the way for another 5 sequels in the future. The movie had a production budget of $151 million, all used to take advantage of the resurgence of the Transformers culture and put to good use. Next up in line was Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, which continued the direction begun by its predecessor, a movie that featured a greater variety of Transformers and an international theme, expanding the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons into other countries, all done with a whopping $210 million budget, which looked as much at the year of 2009 when the movie was made, but worth it.
Run.
The last iteration with Shia LaBeouf starring in the role of Sam, the human factor in the franchise, in 2011, we got to see Transformers Dark of the Moon, a movie built around the human Autobot cooperation, a connection that carried over into the film's toy line. It was also the last movie to receive tie-in comics, due to Bay's displeasure at the fact that other adaptations of the movie spoiled the plot months in advance, a movie for which $195 million were invested. However, despite all this, even today, this movie is the highest grossing movie of the franchise, both at the domestic box office and worldwide, bringing in more than $1.1 billion. Transformers Age of Extinction was the first movie to break the pattern of the movies that were released every 2 years, arriving in 2014, 3 years after the last one, and also featured a new character in the lead role, Mark Wahlberg, stepping on the scene. It was also the first movie to not get tie-in comics or book adaptations, due to Bay's new policy over spoilers after the 3rd installment of the franchise, a policy that stayed for both the 4th and the 5th movie of the franchise. This is also the movie that equals Transformers Revenge of the Fallen in terms of budget used for production, all resulting in an enormous $210 million, all bringing to be the 2nd most successful movie of the franchise in terms of the box office side of things. The 2nd movie of Mark Wahlberg's contract with the franchise was Transformers The Last Knight, for which he also got paid the most, but more on that later. However, we can see why that is. He was the most involved in terms of story and importance when it came to his character. Just like its predecessor, the 5th movie featured no print adaptations, with a tie-in toy line focusing largely on simpler, kid-friendly toys. After everything was said and done, the movie's budget came to the biggest one invested, rounding up to $217 million. The last movie of the franchise, which also serves as a reboot, is Bumblebee, which was released in 2018. A fresh start for the franchise, a movie helmed by a new director, a movie featuring a nostalgic 1980s influenced approach to it, which proved to be popular among the critics and the audiences alike. All it took were only $102 million in budget cost, with the earnings bringing in a total of $465 million, which is mighty successful. Shia LaBeouf and Mark Wahlberg salaries. The Transformers franchise has been one to focus on the human factor over the years, despite the fact that the movies are about the Cybertronians, 2 factions made of metal, the Autobots and the Decepticons. And here we have today 2 actors who were at the center of it all, Shia LaBeouf and Mark Wahlberg, who has yet to share the screen in one of the movies together. A wish we might never get granted. They both anchored the franchise in successful films and helped make it a massive project we know it for today. Needless to say, they both made a pretty penny for their work in the franchise. but only one of them can claim that they made much more than the other, which, considering the situation they were in at the time, it is very much understandable. Back in 2007, when the first franchise was starting with its first iteration, the hype was through the roof. All the fans of the animated series, and the news ones alike, were excited about what is coming on the big screen with Michael Bay at the helm of it. Shia LaBeouf was cast as the lead in the film, and once it hit theaters, it became a huge success. Shia has long been in Hollywood before landing the role of Sam in the franchise, but despite this, he was not able to command a massive salary like many thought. Thus, for the first movie, he only got paid $750,000, which seems like a nice payday, but Hollywood stars command much more for these kind of movies. Thankfully, the first movie was a success, which meant a boost for Shia's payment in the next 2 installments. For the second movie, he was paid $5 million, a big jump in pay when compared to what he made for the first one, a much closer sum of money he should have been making when he joined a big-budget franchise flick. The subsequent success of the second movie netted him an even larger salary for the third one, with him managing to grab $15 million for his appearance in the third installment of the franchise, landing him in A-list territory. Only major performers get paid like this, with his salary being a testament to his abilities to act and carry a whole franchise. This would also be his last payday for the franchise, leaving after the third movie, allowing Mark Wahlberg to step on the scene. Mark, before he joined the Transformers franchise, was already a huge star who had many successful projects, both as an actor and a producer. He was even nominated for an Academy Award, distinctions that went his way, receiving a base salary of $17 million for the fourth movie. Wahlberg's proven track record of success and the huge fan base at the time made sure the movie was a success, and once the dust had settled, the movie found itself crossing over the $1 billion mark. It is also worth mentioning that there is a possibility that Wahlberg picked up some money from the profits. For the fifth movie, and Mark's second casting for the franchise, has managed to shatter what he had made before. He was able to make up to $40 million for the movie, a staggering amount of money for any actor to be making. The film was a huge success, and Wahlberg was more than happy to collect a gigantic paycheck for his efforts in it. After the departure of the two actors, the Transformers franchise has kept moving along, and in 2018, Bumblebee hit theaters with the hopes of achieving the success of its predecessors. But the box office gross was not quite up to snuff with the past iterations. As for the upcoming movie, Transformers Rise of the Beast, coming out on the 24th of June 2022, the official release date standing right now, it should be a success as it will be an adaptation from the animated series Beast Wars, a monumental crossover for all cartoon fans from the time, with the movie certainly playing into the nostalgia factor for many fans who will be potential viewers of the latest Transformers iteration to come.
The only place in the universe whose people let me call it.
On a related note, tell us down in the comments which element of the movies have been the most exciting one, and which installment was the most thrilling for you to watch. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.